Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me today. Today we have a 2004 GMC Yukon Denali up on the lift. We have a lot of work to be done on this truck. It's got a pretty good sized oil leak, as we can see there. Looks like it's coming from several different places, but the biggest problem is it is leaking from the rear main seal of the engine, which is going to require we remove the transmission to gain access to the rear main seal. We got to remove both of these pipes, cats, and all of this stuff. I've already started preparing for that by lubing up the everything. We are going to go ahead and remove the front transfer case. We're going to go ahead and do an oil pan while we're at it, and then also the problematic oil pickup tube O-ring while we're in there anyway. It'd be dumb not to do that. We've got a very nice rust-free Yukon. This is a 2004 model. I mean, there is absolutely no rust on this thing. It is in perfect condition, which is extremely surprising coming from Illinois. But yeah, we've got, I think one of the only things that's not leaking on that thing is the front seal. It's not leaking. We've also got, as you can see there, looks like a power steering leak. At first glance, it looks like it's coming from that hose right there. However, what we've actually got going on up there is a brake booster is leaking, and it is dripping down on that hose, which is running down the hose and dripping down onto the gearbox, and then also off that line. Sorry, that line up there. So we have got a lot of work to be done on this thing in a short period of time. I'm going to try to take you guys along. It may be kind of skipped around. I don't know how long the videos are going to be. I might break it up into two. If I can do it, I'll try to do it all in one. But like I said, that's all the oil leaks we're going to fix. And then we've got a dash cluster that he wants replaced as well, simply because periodically it doesn't work, and we've diagnosed that it's got a communication error, which we figured out is in the dash cluster. So he said he wants it replaced. Doesn't want to mess around with it. He wants it replaced, so we will do what the customer wants. So yeah, we'll get started cracking on this. We're gonna have to remove this drive shaft. I think I can pull the transfer case with the transmission, but we're gonna pull all of this out. I mean, everything here. But being it's rust free, I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, it's not going to be too bad. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to drain the oil, engine oil, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull the axle assembly out of here, and then we'll get started pulling this. And yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. A couple hours we should have everything apart, and all the parts are supposed to be here this afternoon. So we'll either get started putting it back together hopefully this afternoon or in the morning. So yeah, we'll take you along for this journey. Like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to record, just simply because I don't have a whole lot of time to finish this project. So I'm going to get started on this, and like I said, drain the oil first thing, and then just go from there. Well, look at what we got here. Yes. Several hours later, we've got a huge cavity in here. Okay, so As you guys can tell, I don't think it's picking it up as good on camera as it is here, but this thing was leaking right in here. It's all wet right there. This is all wet. I mean, there's just oil everywhere. This thing was leaking bad enough that he had to have cardboard underneath his car to park it in the garage so it doesn't make a huge mess. We've got some oil off of this bolt up here, which I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but all of this is coming off. We're cleaning all this up, pulling this pan, like I said. We're also going to change this gasket, and then the pan gasket is going to be new oil filter, new oil. The pickup tube in the back of the motor or on the inside of the motor is getting replaced. So yeah, this really wasn't that bad getting all this transmission out of here. This top bolt up here is the hardest thing to get to, but other than that, it's not too bad. All of my fasteners came loose, which is amazing, and I just left that thing laying there for now. Once I get the oil pan off, I'll probably have to take this off as well, but it's just hanging there for now. Yeah, it's coming. We're getting there. Okay, we've got the oil pan pulled off of this thing now. Getting ready to remove this, and the oil pan was definitely leaking pretty good. I know it wasn't all of it because this is all oily here. However, right in here, this part of the gasket was all dried up, and that's where your oil pressure comes through, or oil comes through for the oil filter. There's more pressure there than in the rest of the gasket, so I'm sure it was just dumping out of the side there, because I mean it was all dried up, and it actually came apart when we took the oil pan off. We're going to remove this pickup tube, because if you look up here, might not be able to see too well, but right there where that thing bolts up to the oil pump there, that has that O-ring there has a habit of going bad, drying up and going bad. So we're going to take this thing off, take a bolt loose here, and we'll take this one off, and then this one up here, and that thing will come right off of there, and we'll go ahead and replace that, so that you know, prevention. Clean up all our gasket surfaces, remove this. I'm not going to replace the rear cover. I should maybe, but I'm going to use the Felpro gasket set, which is BS 40640. This includes this rear gasket and the seal. I've also got, just in case, I've got a ready sleeve for that thing, 99210. You can get this at your auto parts store, and you install this over the crankshaft, in between the crankshaft and the rear seal here. If there's any kind of wear on the crankshaft, I'll usually use that. So then this is our inlet tube O-ring that we're going to replace as well. So like I said, we're going to get that done. I've got the oil pan cleaned up as good as I can get it. All the surfaces are clean here. I've also cleaned the outside. It was pretty oily. Like I said, we're going to replace this gasket, and then we'll be ready to go back together with this thing once I get that all cleaned up on the engine and the O-ring replaced. This thing will be good to go back together. So far, so good. It's going fairly smoothly. All right, got everything clean here. Getting ready, I even removed the seal. Yeah, everything's cleaned up. Getting ready to drive this seal back in here. There is a certain way for this seal to go, and it does say right, I don't think you can see it, but right around in that area it says this side out, so you know that side's out. We'll go ahead and install this seal. It's really not very hard at all, actually. There is a shoulder back there that it will go against. Just gently massage it in there. Drive that all the way in there, just like such. Actually, that one may need to go in just a little further. It's not really against the back side there. So let's see what we got here. You kind of feel it when it comes against. Gravity. All right. So, yep. There we go. Like I said, this ledge right here will not allow that thing to come in too far. So, I usually drive them in against that ledge. I guess it may or may not be right, but it usually lines up with this bevel out here, so I say it's right. And there is a certain way for this gasket to go on there. You'll figure that out pretty quickly. The other way is like obviously not going to work. So, and I install this dry, no silicone, because it's got a pretty good bead of rubber around there anyway. So, yeah, this thing's ready to go up in there. When we go up in there, we want to be careful that we this thing's got a little bit of a chamfer on it, so it should be fine, but you want to make sure that you don't grab that seal and fold it over whenever you slide it across there. I'm gonna clean that up just a little bit more, but this thing is actually really smooth. There is no ledge whatsoever on that crankshaft, so I'm not going to put that wear sleeve on. I did go ahead and order that wear sleeve just because it was like 10 bucks, and I would have hated to get this far and then have to order it and wait on it for a couple hours or another day. So I can always return it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean some more of this up, and then we'll slide that thing back on there, and I'll record that so you can see how I do it. I mean, it's fairly simple, but you just want to make sure you don't roll that seal whenever you go across there. Okay, got you guys situated there. I'm gonna go ahead and get that plate. We'll put that up on there, and I install everything dry. This one. Okay, so that seal installer fits right across there, and it's very simple. There it is.
Okay, bolts.
We'll just kind of preliminarily see how that pulled that in. Nice and clean and shiny. Okay. Loosen these just a little bit. This side is up and the other side is down, so see if I can get that lined up a little bit better. I don't know that it's gonna have much oh yes, it will. Okay. Not ran into that one before. There we go. Okay, there we go. As I was saying, I put a little silicone right there because obviously there's a mating surface there, and that silicone will help with perfect. And then we'll also, the front cover is the same way up here. We'll put a little bead of silicone in between there, and that will help take care of that. But before we get all of that, we're gonna torque all of these bolts down, and then we'll get our pickup tube put in, which, by the way, I've got it over here. And I got it cleaned up. As you can see, the O-ring goes right here, and what happens whenever this O-ring dries out is the oil level is down below this point right here, so it'll suck air in through there. You'll lose oil pressure in the engine and destroy a possibly fairly good engine. It's happened quite a few times. So yeah, while we're in there, it all makes sense to just replace that O-ring. Brand new. It's easy to do. Doesn't take long. It's a lot easier than when it's back up in there and you have to take everything back apart again. And knowing the way everything goes for me, we'd be looking at replacing that O-ring a week after I put everything back together. So all right, we're going to torque those down up there, torque those down, and then put that pickup tube in there, and we'll be good to go. All right, we're back. I went ahead and put this tube on. I had to charge my battery on my camera for a little bit, and yeah, so I wasn't able to get you guys in on this, but I mean, it's very simple. So I'm getting ready to put the silicone on the cracks there, and then put the oil pan on and we're good to go. All right, put a daub on there, a daub on here. And then up here, same story. This one, you want to make sure your finger is clean whenever you do this. Doesn't need much, just enough to fill that crack and not allow it to leak, because it will more than likely leak from there if you don't. And that pickup tube has got a hole it goes into. Now we can kind of move this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these back long bolts in here. Line that up. Oh, yeah, okay. I want to smear that stuff all over. Okay, this one. Come on, go up in there. Okay, now we'll tighten some more of these up just a little bit. All right, now up front here, we're gonna make sure we don't have anything pinched. There's just something satisfying, you know, about putting something like this back together, because I mean, this thing came apart. It was oily, nasty, and we've taken it, cleaned it all up, putting it back together, you know, and then general, I just think that's very satisfying. All right. We're going to torque all of these down. I did torque these down off camera because my battery was dead. So, and my battery is dying again because, you know, I'm irresponsible and don't buy a charger for my GoPro batteries that I can charge them while it's sitting. I have to charge them through my GoPro. So yeah, but yeah, we're going to torque all of these down. These were 18 foot-pounds. I'll have to look up and see what these are, but we'll tighten all of these down. And then I'm going home for the night. We'll leave this set till tomorrow, and then we'll be back on this thing. All right, well, back again. We've got the drive shaft put in. I've got all of this put in. All the mounting bolts are tight. All of this is tight. My exhaust connectors are tight. I've got this tight. This is tight. Got all these tight. That's tight. That's tight. It's all plugged in. All of the sensors are plugged in. There. This is all hooked up. This is hooked up. This up here is tight. We got one bolt up here. Let's get a light here and we'll let you guys in on this. I've tightened all of these. That's all tight. That's tight. That's tight. All right, I think this is plugged in. Starter's mounted. We've got this cover put on over here. All of this is hooked up. Oh, we got one more thing. Rain Man Ray and Eric O, they've got this. I don't know how to make that noise yet, but I'll figure it out. Let's go ahead and clean. We don't want any oil drippage here. Nice and shiny. Another one. Okay, that should do it. All right, gonna let this thing down and get the thing filled with oil, and yeah, well, we got all the oil put in. Let's fire this thing up, check it for leaks. Driver 1. Starting the motor. Runs nice. Checking underneath. No leaks. No obvious leaks. Let's get this thing up in the air. Okay. Well, lights on the subject. That's still from up top. There's no leaking there. Leaking there. We had those lines off. There's no leaking from there. I spilled a little oil. It's smoking. Yeah, okay. No leaking from there. Nothing there. That was dumb. I shouldn't have put that on. Pull this out of here. Come on. I nearly got my thing in there. I don't see anything in there. I mean, the biggest thing is we're gonna have to take this thing out on a test drive and come back, check it again. But so far, so good. And yes, I did check. We had 60 pounds of oil pressure. Oh, I forgot to pop that back across there. Let's do that. Ooh, maybe. Woo. Please go on. A lot of times you can get these back on there without having to redo the clamp. Let's go. Come on. There we go. Yes. All right. Perfect. No tears. It's all sealed off. Still no leaks up here. Nothing there. Nothing there. Still have our power steering leak. We're gonna fix that with the brake booster. Okay. Well, we're ready to pull this thing off the lift. Actually, let's let it down and double check the oil level, transmission oil level. What you think? Huh? Is it good? Okay, thanks. Put you guys right here. We're gonna check our oil levels. Okay. Yeah, I put way too much oil on that thing. Oops. Let's go shift it through the gears a little bit. Just see if that changes. Oh yeah, way too full. So I drained it so I wouldn't make a mess, and yeah, I'm like way over full. Well, I'm gonna have to drain some out. Yes. So I went by the book. It said for a drain to drop the for a drain and refill is like 7 quarts, so I added 6 thinking I'm good. Yeah, no. I'm probably like a quart to a quart and a half too full. No worries. I'm just going to be out of probably a quart and a half of oil, because, you know, can't charge the customer for that. Oops. That's why you should always fill and check instead of just dumping it in there. I got in a hurry. Okay. Let's I'm gonna get this thing up on the lift, and we're gonna drain some oil out of there and get that level right. All right, guys and gals, thank you for watching. I'm glad you made it this far. If you could, go ahead and like this video. If you don't care, please subscribe and share it. It helps me out a bunch. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.